Episode 58 of the Thunder Underground podcast is here. I'm Trent, and I'm joined by Jason.
What's going on?
I don't know. As you can tell, my voice is a little out of it. Yours is too. We're both kind of under the weather, so to speak, with the head crap.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen better days.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst fucking days I've ever had in my life.
Did you just reference Citizen King? Remember that band?
Maybe I did.
From the 90s. I've seen better days.
What about
Anyway.
Citizen Dick from Singles?
Oh, that's better. Yeah.
Anyways, and as Bob Marley says, once the music hits, you feel no pain. Dealt a lot of dumb shit today, so let's get into this and get in a better mood. How about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you hear some sniffs and some coughs, bear with us. We're sorry.
That's right.
This week, our guest is Chad Malone. We've got a great, an hour-long interview here with him. Really cool guy. Had a lot of cool stuff to say. Chad's currently in the band Senior Fellows, who is leaving on tour tomorrow, if you're listening to this today when it comes out. They're playing Lawrence, Kansas Friday night, which is I've seen shows there. It's a great town, fun town to hang out in. University of Kansas town, 30 minutes, I think, west of KC. Fun place. And then they're doing a 10-city tour, starting then, going to Chicago, Cincinnati, Philly, New York City, Harrisonburg, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Nashville, and finishing up in Fayetteville, Arkansas on May 7th. Just straight through 10 days of shows, or 9 days, I guess that is.
Yeah, Warriors.
Yeah. So glad to see these guys getting out there and representing the state of Oklahoma. They've got a kick-ass metal sound, and we're going to play some for you here in a minute.
Yeah.
So he's also in, you might, if you've been around this area for a long time, you'll remember Brother Inferior and the Kids Who Never Learned to Color Inside the Lines. Both those are 90s Tulsa bands, and the Kids are still around today, which I found out in the interview. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Both those punk-style bands, and Concept of Nonsense is another band he's in the 90s. Currently, he's also in Larkin, and he's also in The Shame, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. This guy does it all.
Yeah, he does, and he knows it all. Very knowledgeable. I really like Larkin. When he had mentioned that, I remembered that, from, years past. But I never, I just, I didn't want to interrupt the flow of conversation. And I listened to, the record he gave us. It was really cool. If you like, the Pogues and Shane MacGowan and Flogging Molly, you'll love Larkin. The Shame is, just badass punk rock. I mean, gang vocals, songs about, beer and football, and it's just great stuff. I felt it was quite a privilege to sit down and talk with Chad. He's been around for a while. He knows a lot. He's seen a lot. He's been all over the world, and he had a great view on stuff, and he was super cool, and it was just one of those, one of the really special ones. And we're fortunate, everyone that we've had on here has been really cool, and this one's no different.
Definitely. Well, let's get into this Senior Fellows song then. This song's called Doctrine Contrary to the Established Faith, and it's from their album Shallow Grave for a Dying God.
Is
All right, once again, that was Doctrine Contrary to the Established Faith. That's from the album Shallow Grave for a Dying God. And they've got some kick-ass song titles on this thing.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're descriptive and long.
Yeah.
And that's, one of the cool things. The song is just, it's just scary. It's screaming. It's sludgy. It's caustic. I love it. And it's got, it gets up, but it's also, we're organic. So, I hope you guys dug it.
Yeah, I like that word, caustic. There's some killer guitar riff in here, that's reminiscent to me of like Pepper Keenan or Kirk Windstein, where it's real dirty, but it's still, just extremely catchy as well. They might not like the word catchy, but it's not, not in the sense that a pop song is, obviously, but it's a badass riff that gets in your head, and, those vocals are intense, and this whole album is great. I've checked it out, and they sell it on vinyl, cassette, and everything. I know they sell that at Holy Mountain. Get over there and check that out if you're into this.
Yeah.
They're on, of course, Facebook, Bandcamp, Reverb Nation, all your standard stuff, and you can buy it, obviously, online at your standard retail style places.
That's right.
But yeah, what'd you say? I think you mentioned that the vocals had a real Neurosis vibe, which I thought was cool. I hadn't listened to Neurosis in forever, and then you mentioned that, and
I really got a Neurosis vibe from a lot of it. I like I like kind of their message and their lyrical content. The anti-religion, anti-organized religion, just kind of against the establishment, which is something that is near and dear to me. It's an idea that no matter what you really believe, it's the idea of doing your own thing is something we can all get behind. So I really, really enjoy this band, and I hate to say it, but I haven't seen them live yet, and I hope to remedy that really soon.
Yeah, definitely. And like we mentioned earlier, he's also got the band The Shame, and you want to just get into this song as well?
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, this song's called Blacked Out on Cherry Street. Blacked Out on Cherry Street from The Shame out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. this is kind of tailor-made for you, right?
Oh, yeah, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
This stuff is just, it's short to the point. It's, just straight up punk rock. This is the kind of stuff that just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Makes me want to shake my fist and crack open a beer. And I really, really love, if you look this stuff up on YouTube, they got videos where they're in Tulsa and they're showing off Tulsa landmarks and, Victory in 83. They've got pictures of, the Roughnecks back, when we were kids. And I just really love that they're showcasing the best parts of Tulsa and they're repping that kind of thing, because I think that's really important. And, I really kind of fell in love with that aspect of this band, on top of the killer tunes. Again, just great to play these guys. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to get some more punk stuff on here. Many episodes back, we had Lenny Lashley, who's now a member of the Street Dogs, and this really has that same kind of vibe to me. Just that good time punk.
Yeah, yeah.
And, of course, Cherry Street's an easy place that you could get blacked out on.
Definitely. I did once, actually. Yeah. I got kicked out of, I can't even remember where it was.
It's probably closed now.
Yeah, probably. And
It's been that long.
And my friends threw me in a van and just let me sleep it off. And I woke up in the morning with the hot sun beating down, and I was blacked out on Cherry Street. So,
So this holds a special place in your heart.
Yeah, you gotta fucking love it.
Yeah. All right, like you mentioned earlier, they've got several videos on YouTube for some of their songs. They've also got several live videos of The Shame. All cool stuff. Tulsa Boys is another cool song.
Yeah, I love that song.
And just look them up. They're on Facebook, facebook.com/oi the shame. That's OI the shame. Pretty easy to find. Like we mentioned as well, he's also in Brother Inferior. These guys have traveled the world, and he talks about that here coming up. The Kids Who Never Learned to Color Inside the Lines. And currently, like you mentioned, Larkin. And he was cool enough to give us their newest vinyl. So very cool to grab that, and thanks again to Chad for that.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I say it's just time to get right into this, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, 9 shows in 9 days.
Okay. So is this like something that had been on your mind for a while, or is this something that someone else suggested, or how did it?
Well, the senior fellows is a much different approach for me, for band wise, because normally I'm the guy that does all the booking. I handle just most of the inner workings within the band. Senior fellows is James's project. He had different singers before me. At first I was just a writer. I was just writing lyrics. And then they lost their other singer, and I ended up just taking over. And it's still pretty much James's thing. So he's been planning tour, and we're doing another tour in October, I believe, for the Southwest Terror Fest, which looks amazing. The Agoraphoric Nosebleed's playing, Infest is playing, Pig Destroyer's playing. That would be pretty crazy. We're playing the Thursday night. But this tour, I think he's been planning for a while. He's been wanting to do more, go out east. I mean, we did previous tours with Bring Down the Hammer and did a bit, because James and I were in that band as well. But yeah, so with any kind of tour, you got to plan way in advance anyway. You can't just do next week. Back, because I'm so used to before the internet days, you had to plan 6 months in advance. Because you're sending out letters and making phone calls. Have your notebook full of shit and all that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm pretty stoked about it. It'll be pretty exciting.
So these all headline gigs? Are you guys teaming up with
I
someone?
believe so. James, for the first time, went through a booking. I don't know if I call it booking agent. Maybe that's the right word. But yeah, these are all our shows. We're not touring with anybody. I don't even know who the other bands are, and most of them. I know specifically we asked to play with certain bands, like we asked for La Armada in Chicago, but I don't think they're going to be playing. Plus, they're more of a hardcore band. We played some shows with them and Bring Down the Hammer, and I really liked them a lot. But I think they're a Dominican Republic band. That was in Chicago. Anyhow, so yeah, no specifics. Just going and playing, see what happens.
Yeah. Are there any cities you haven't been to or that you're looking forward to hitting?
Looking forward to hitting pretty much. I just enjoy playing.
Yeah.
Wherever we're going. The Senior Fellows, I really don't know where all they've played. I mean, I've only done regional stuff with them. Me personally, I don't. Other than Alaska and Hawaii, I don't think there's a city in the U.S. I haven't played. Because since Brother Inferior days, our tours were like 3 months long, and every year we were gone for long periods of time. And other than, real obscure places, but pretty much any big city I've probably been to. But yeah, we're playing New York City. It'd be nice to play there again. I haven't played there since the Assembly God tour in 2001. And I think, I don't remember. And getting back to Philadelphia and places I haven't been in a very long time since the Assembly God Brother Inferior days. So it's just exciting just to do that because I haven't been that far out on tour in a long time.
Has it been since then? Since you've been on tour?
No. I mean, I toured a short one with the Senior Fellows, but it was just a little regional thing. And we did the Bring Down the Hammer tour, and I don't remember where all we played. I'm sure we played New York. It all just kind of blends together after a while.
All runs together.
Yeah, that was about 2008, and we did a pretty good size one, but it wasn't the depth of previously, when I was younger in Brother Inferior days when we would literally do the United States. And our longest tour was 6 months, and it was like 24 countries. So it was pretty fucking stupid. Break up as soon as that one's done. Man.
Yeah.
You're like, I hate you. I'm going home.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward just to be on the road. I do get kind of social anxiety, and I'll end up just hiding in the back of the van through a lot of it. But the playing and seeing friends I haven't seen in a long time is always nice. So it'll be a good time.
Well, on my notes here, this must be something you put, earplugs at shows. I'd
read at one point that someone said that you guys offer free earplugs. Is that
James? That's a James thing, and he's a paramedic. I mean, he's very big into promoting health, and he's the serious non-drinker. Never drank a lick of alcohol in his life. Drugs, nothing, and good for him for that. He's just real positive about trying to people be a little more, just look out for themselves and not be so self-destructive. And the band all wears earplugs when we play, except for me. I won't say I can't. It just feels so uncomfortable screaming when it's all blocked and it just sounds weird. But I'll take some for other bands, like when I'm watching bands. The only time I won't anymore wear earplugs if I know I'm just standing in the back, or if it's a band I really like, I won't wear them because you want to just get the whole experience. But other than that, you're playing with 3 or 4 metal bands a night and everyone's loud as shit. So that ringing in my ears isn't going to go away, but I need to not make it any worse than it already is.
Did you ever try those inner ear?
No, I don't know. I just never did. I don't know why. I just always got just cheap earplugs. I need to invest. If I'm going to keep doing shit like this, which Fellows is definitely the loudest band I've ever been in. James plays through 3 cabinets, 2 heads, and yeah, it's ridiculous and in the best way, proper metal,
Yeah.
Because I always did, all the bands I've been in, if I play guitar, I just have a half stack, and that's fine,
Yeah.
It wasn't about volume. Like with The Shame, it's just, I don't even like cranking it that much. It's just about trying to have catchy songs and everybody sing along. Yeah, but it's fun. But yeah, certainly, I gotta get some earplugs before we go.
Well, you mentioned writing lyrics for Senior Fellows.
Yeah.
Did you do that on the new album? Like, is everything you? Or?
Yeah. Lyrically, everything on the new record is me. What will basically happen is James will finish the music and come up with an idea for the lyrics, or give me a title, or just give me a direction, and I'll take that and write it. And that's That's what I'm actually happiest doing, is writing. I could give up playing. I do enjoy playing, but if I had to give up one of them, I'd give up playing. I'd just write. It's funner to me and more satisfying, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever written for other people? Or?
That was first time. Because James and I have been friends forever, and we've been in a bunch of bands together. And I guess after the first singer, Dustin, left, and I think James was writing a lot of lyrics at that point, but it's not something he was real comfortable with. Or not. Not that he can do it, and they're good lyrics, but I think it's his least comforting thing about music is he'd rather just. And I was talking to him, and he said he had a bunch of new songs, but he didn't have a singer at the time, and he didn't have any lyrics for them. I'm like, dude, just give them to me. I'll write them for you, no problem. So that started that, and the next thing I know, I'm tracking vocals just to show the next singer what it's going to be like, how I wrote them, and next thing I'm just doing it. So, and we're friends, and I never would have thought that I've always been into thrash and faster metal. I'm very much into classic metal, big Iron Maiden fan, and much prefer the real fast, short songs real fast. But I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's different for me, so I guess challenging is kind of nice. But yeah, him and I get on a lot politically, so it's no stretch for me to write lyrics for his stuff because he gets from. I might be a bit more extreme as far as economically, a bit more Marxist, and so I don't go too far in that direction when I write for him. But the anti-religious stuff that yes, I love cheesy religious shit. That we had really good in common, so it's real easy for me to write. I can just kind of put myself there, and then when I started singing, it was easier because then I just write for myself.
When your previous stuff, like Brother Inferior and the Kids and Shame and everything, do you write everything, like musically too?
Not everything. Different bands, different. To Shame, yes, I write everything. Now, occasionally they can throw an idea at me everyone knows they're welcome to write, but no one usually does. And Larkin, I write all the originals, that excluding the instrumentals, which Karen does, our fiddle player, and we do some traditional songs, but it's mostly my stuff. And with Brother Inferior, I wrote all the lyrics, 50-60% of the music. Ryan, our guitar player, him and I really worked well together and wrote a lot of the music on that. So I would come up with an idea and he would go from there. And the kids was much more conglomeration or collaboration. Our previous guitarist, Dan Earl, wrote a lot of the early stuff, and I started writing a lot later. And Chris would write lyrics, and I'd write some lyrics. Kids haven't wrote anything in 20 years, feels like. Yeah, we don't bother. No one wants to hear new songs from us anyway, so.
So you guys are still together? I didn't realize.
Yeah. Yeah, we played a show a few months ago.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's sort of like it is with Bring Down the Hammer. I mean, we never broke up. We just don't do anything. And if something comes up, I mean, Chris and I always, we're game, but we don't want to. It's not anything we want to make a regular thing. But if a gig comes up like the last one, I think it was the Vibrators show, and I was like, I'd love for us to play. It seemed a good fit. So if something like that comes to town, like, it would be perfect for us to play. But, if we can get everybody going. And what's funny is the kids will plan, we'll book a show and like, oh, it's coming in 2 months. And like, okay, we should get together and practice. And I was like, Chris, what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be busy until the week before the show. We're going to try to panic, get a rehearsal together. And then we'll just say, fuck it, let's just do it. And that's exactly what happened last time. We didn't practice, but it was fine.
How long had it been since the last time you performed together and practiced?
Probably 2 years between, something like that. But we've been doing this version of the band's been together for mid-90s. So, we all know the tunes. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's not. And who cares if we butcher them? I mean, it's part of the kids' mystique is the fact that we suck.
Where'd that name come from?
I think that was Dan, our original guitar player, because I was the original drummer in the Kids. It was horrible. It was really, I was basically shit sandwich on drums. We were just more a noise project, and then we got real slow, and then we started being more of just a punk band. I think Dan was really high, and it just said it, and that was that. I was like, let's use that. It just sounded absurd enough for us to use.
Nice.
Well, it works because I definitely, I was in high school, middle school at that time, and I never forgot that name.
Yeah, you can't. People don't generally remember it correctly, but they remember it.
Yeah. They always leave out a word or something.
They'll leave out a word or rearrange it, but we know what you mean, and you're close, whatever.
I remember thinking, well, that's probably the best band name I've ever heard. That was awesome.
Because you'll just remember, it's in the lexicon of band names. Yeah, I mean, it's absurd, but it's fun, and we always enjoyed it. We talked about. I threw the idea at Chris of writing some more just rock and roll stuff, but doing it basically using all the kids, being the kids members, but not be it as the kids, so we don't feel locked into we have to do a certain thing and try to make our sets fun and ridiculous. Or we just be a rock and roll band. I mean, we got the people to do a good rock and roll band without having to be cheesy and perverted or the things the kids do, which is fun. It'd be kind of nice just to, and not have to put yourself in that niche and just play. And I've written a couple of riffs and stuff for that, but I just get too damn busy.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of a someday we'll do it. So we'll see. But no, we never broke up. Probably never will.
Yeah.
Till either Chris or I are totally gone, and even then, we'd probably still doing it like Tony Clifton, Andy Kaufman's dead and stuff. And we're still pulling off a kid show. You're not sure if that's Chris or not, but who cares?
Well, what I've kind of noticed a lot of this stuff is, the DIY approach, and talk about how, it seemed like back then it used to be the alternative, but now it's really the only way to go.
Yeah. If you're holding out to get any kind of record deal, you're pinning your hopes on, a ghost. It's not a fantasy. It's not going to fucking happen. 1 out of a million. It's sort of like that high school football player, that thinks he's great. It's like, dude, you're never going to be in the NFL. You're not even 6 foot tall, and they build machines for those dudes, they're just awesome. And music, man, and it's such a scam, any kind of major label. Now, getting on just a small label and ones that are actually trying to do right and just put out records like the labels I'm on are all fantastic, but that's not what people think about when they think about being signed. You know what I mean? Because that's why I've got my stacks of records over there for the different bands, and so we used to run our own label. That was Central Underground Ministries. That was Brother Inferior days, and we had our apartment had we put out all the local bands around trying to support our scene and all that. And once we got back from the European tour and the band broke up, I just gave my half of the label. I was just like, fuck it, I don't want to do it anymore. And so I don't put out my own records anymore, but the labels I deal with are still people that I knew from back then. And it's all, these guys have day jobs and they're just doing it because they love it. And as long as they don't lose too much money, it's all good fun. Yeah, unfortunately, too many people still get that dream of that they're going to make it big, and you're not going to. Music, it's just not. So DIY, if you plan on doing it and you want to have fun with it, if you're not doing it yourself, no one else is going to. So that's the point.
It's got to be satisfying because knowing that you never, dreamt for that or gave it or, fell into that trap. And kind of like now being, I knew it.
I didn't have any options. No one was knocking on my door to give me money. Believe me, you want to pay me $1 million and give me a fucking tour bus? I'd really have to think about it. Be glad I suck, because that's never going to happen. It is. I really liked putting on my own records, but I just don't have the stomach for it anymore, I guess, and just the time and the patience. And it's thankless endeavor a lot of the times, And I'm so grateful for I think I'm on 4 labels currently.
Yeah.
And what I love about, in the punk scene is there's no, most of the time, I've only signed 1 record contract, actually. It's just for 1 record. And it's basically a handshake deal. You know what I mean? You agree to press 1,000 records or however many, and promote it as best you can. We get a percentage of those records. So, we'll get 15, 20% depending on the label. So, and that's our money, So, no money ever changes hands. They press, say, 1,000. We get 200 to sell. So, whatever we sell that's the label's giving us money. Whatever they sell, they try to compensate for all the money they put into it. And that's how it goes. And they just trust us to not release the same record on a different label without checking with them, and we've never done that. If I wanted to release I'm on a couple of compilations with The Shame, and we got asked to do a CD in Europe, and I asked the labels that do the compilations, I'm like, look, if those records are sold out and you're not going to repress it, you mind if I use that song in Europe? I could have done it without asking, wouldn't have mattered, and it turned out they didn't care anyway because it sold out. But yeah, that's pretty much how it's always been in labels and all that, at least with the ones I've dealt with. And No Records, Albert, who put out the Bring Down the Hammer LP and all the Larkin stuff, he's always fantastic, does exactly what he says he's going to do, puts out the records, promotes it as best he can. And, if I need more copies, all I have to do is text him, and I'll get more and pay out our money and shit. So
that's great.
It's good. No complaints.
So, I know Senior Fellows is on vinyl. Do you put everything on vinyl?
No. More so now. CDs have just stopped selling. Yeah. They just literally stopped selling. Not totally. It also depends on the scene. With Larkin, CDs are still more likely to sell because it's more, I hate to use the term regular crowd, but just not people in any kind of underground scene.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're metalheads, right? Yeah. I mean, you expect it to be on vinyl, hopefully, and a little more catered to the vehicle of which the music is released, and a lot of, the Larkin crowd, they have CD player. They want to buy the CD. They're not going to go buy a record player, but the last Larkin record did come out on record. And it looks fantastic. I'm really happy with it. And Senior Fellow stuff's all on vinyl, although he does a cassette as well. It's James. Yeah, fine. I've got no real say in any of that. I have a say, but he's basically the Steve Harris of the band. You know what I mean? It's everybody gets input. He does have final decision of what goes on. And I kind of like for the first time being in a band where I don't have to have my hands in everything. So whatever we're doing next, it's probably going to be vinyl, but I'm assuming so.
Yeah, is that kind of refreshing? Just doing your thing and not having to worry about all that other stuff.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing both. It's kind of strange that we're leaving for Tour Friday and I don't know anything about it. I see where we're playing. I see where we're going. I've got the tour dates, but I have no clue. And it feels kind of helpless. It feels kind of awesome. Because previously, on the Brother Inferior days, Ryan and I booked everything except for Europe. Because back then, there no internet. We had a guy, Philip, that booked all the European tour. And even then, he'd contact, he's out of Poland, he would contact his guy in Germany. He would contact all the places in Germany and Sweden, do that. And so, it was big, kind of networked out, But yeah, I think it's pretty nice. I can just get in the van and just put on the headphones, get to the next city.
Nice.
Is it just 3 of you on the
van? There's 4 of us in the band.
4. I was thinking there was 3. So
guitar, bass, and drums and me.
Okay.
And Bring Down the Hammer was 3. I played guitar.
Or maybe that's what I saw.
And the Leveling, which was kind of a previous version of Bring Down the Hammer, was 3-piece. The Shames, was 3-piece. We're now a 4-piece. Last year, we added a second guitar player because I fucking can't play leads to save my life. I can write them out okay with the real simple single note stuff, basically go up to the octave and play the vocal melody. That's all I do, because that's what, it's kind of what Larkin does, but Larkin does it a lot better because we have a fiddle player that knows what she's doing and not me just going ding, 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 ding. And, but now with our second guitarist in the Shame, I wanted a guy that could really beefing it up and add like kind of a more rock and roll feel. So Dave Ketter, who's in Triple Fang, played with us last year, and I'm real happy with how it's gone. We've actually just added a new bass player because Josh just left, and that's all on good terms. He hadn't been in a band in about 20 years, and so he did 5 years, got to release records, CDs, got to play some big shows, cool festivals, and he was like, "That's plenty. I'm done." And I'm like, "No problem, cool." Just didn't want the hassle anymore. I can respect that. He hasn't really dedicated, I'd never stopped playing, and it was nice for him to jump back into it because we played together when I was 16, in a band called Mad Arab. And so, yeah, after 5 years, he was just saying, "Nah, it's plenty. I'm done." And that's cool. We're still good friends. Everything's cool. But Terry Waska, a guy I kind of knew from the metal scene, he's now playing with us. He hasn't played live with us yet, but that will hopefully change soon. I'll probably book some shows once I get back from this tour.
Wasn't he Pitbulls on Crack?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, he was in Asylum, and a lot of those guys, some of them ended up in Pitbulls on Crack and all that. But now he's just like the rest of us in the Shame. He's, ex-metalhead that looks like a skinhead.
Yeah.
It's like we're all metalheads, but none of us can look the part anymore because if I try to grow my hair out, it's sad. It's like what Widow's Peak and a crop circle on the back of my head. It'd be like Klaus from the Scorpions. You have to wear a hat everywhere. Yeah, you got long hair, but you don't really.
Yeah, he's had that hat on forever.
I know. Just dude, be bald. Rob fucking Halford, man.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
It'll look tough as nails. Wear it properly.
Too bad he wasn't magic like Kevin Dubrow.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I know.
Like
Balding in the 80s to full head of luxurious hair that he's not allowed to move his neck. Yeah. And I hate to say it, and it's tacky, but when he died, my first thought was, does his neck finally, or his hair just finally go down and strangle him? Just crawled down. It just seemed like it didn't fit on him.
Yeah.
It was something else. I don't really know what it was.
Yeah, I remember going, I wonder what happened there. Let me figure it out.
Yeah, it's best not to ask those questions because those are answers you don't want to know.
Was it hard juggling 3 or 4 acts at once?
Nah, because we don't. To be fair, we don't really do that much. Not in a. It's not as busy as, especially people that have never been in bands. They assume that you're doing shit all the time, and you're really not. I mean, the Shane practices once a week, maybe. Larkin almost never practices because we've been a band for 17 years. I've written new songs. We do new songs, but everyone's a real accomplished musician. So when it comes time to get to rehearsal, everybody knows their shit.
Yeah.
And Senior Fellows is definitely the busiest band I've been in a long time. James is very particular, and I commend him. He's very meticulous, very precise. Practice at least once a week, if not more. And I've been doing vocals, trying to record the next record, which is a very tedious process for me. Screaming like I do for Senior Fellows in a very dry room. That's just me. I can barely get through half a song a session. And my voice starts to crack. Because, like, live you can get away with it. You can cheat a little bit. It doesn't sound great, but you're still screaming. It sounds okay. But if you actually heard that isolated by itself, you could hear the cracks in the voice and not strong. And neither of us are satisfied with, after an hour of screaming, you're like, your voice starts to crack. Well, mine does. And I'm just getting old, man. But so it's like that half of I hate to say it, but that half of the record that I'm on the last one, Shallow Grave, that took, those 5 songs took me 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
Just going once a week, trying to get as much as I hadn't screamed in a long time though at that point. I hadn't, since Bring In the Hammer, and we ended, 5 years ago. I don't know. I forget. It's all music is just one big fucking blur, man.
Is this your most intense vocally?
Oh yeah, it's brutal. I enjoy it, and when it sounds good, I'm real happy with it. It's harder and harder to get my voice to do that. It's that's real screamy, just brutal. Because I like a lot of in death metal and thrash and there's a lot of people that do more guttural vocals, but I always like a little more piercing, not super high like vibrato, but just like a scream. And doing that sounds great when it works. Just doesn't work all the time. But I can get through the shows, I can hold back, not really hold back, but just I can get through the shows by it. Like I said, if you isolated my vocals from the shows, it probably wouldn't sound all that great, but it'll sound good. It'll be good live. It's just, like I said, when you're recording it, you hear every little screech and, vibrato part that wasn't supposed to be or something, and then you got to nitpick that. You got to get it right. It can be kind of frustrating. I enjoy it, but it's just brutal.
Well, the Oil Capital Underground documentary.
Yeah.
Are you involved in that?
Only very minimally. I'm aware of it, and I did an interview for it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But I have no hand in the process of it. I just know the dudes, and I was around then, so I've talked to them a lot about it. And I think it's great, and I'm sure people will probably nitpick it to death because how everybody is. Everybody thinks something should be in and something shouldn't be in. And but I think it's great, and everyone they've interviewed I thought was cool, and it was a fantastic part of the scene, and a lot of shit that I wasn't aware of because it goes back to long before I was even in there, when they're talking about like the late NOTA days. I wasn't there when they played their last show. I think I was going to try to get up there. I was only 16. It was 1986. And, I didn't really, I was into them, but I didn't know much about them. But yeah, so then they focus in like the late 80s and then the early 90s. And that, I was around. So I was doing Concept of Nonsense and then Brother Inferior and Kids and all that shit. Because, the Kids started in like 91.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it with them.
Yeah, it'll be
awesome.
Pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool people, and unfortunately we've lost, a lot of people fucking died and gone. You think about those days, and it's been horrible. Hell, lately it's been horrible. You need another?
Oh, no, I'm good. I got to drive later on.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, though.
Sure. I work for a liquor distributor. We get like on Friday, get take home.
Oh, that's cool.
Beer and stuff. So
right.
I generally have some around unless I just have a real hard weekend, just knocking them back.
We had Dave Cantrell on
a
few months ago, and he gave us was it Rhythm of Damage?
Yeah.
That compilation. Yeah, it had a few. I had a Brother Inferior song,
sure.
A couple Kids songs.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. We actually listened to that on the way.
Oh, crazy! Yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember it real well. Of who all was on it. There were some good local bands. During the Brother Inferior times, we were playing a lot, but we weren't playing Tulsa that much, and so I wasn't seeing a lot of the other bands that were going on. And kind of when Pitbulls on Crack was around, when they originally were around, we were practicing in the same space. And it was more of a skate rock metal band until they started changing members, and it became more just metal. And then we were kind of going our different ways, so I really didn't see them that much back then. And I liked them, and I was still friends with them, but Brother Inferior was playing more hardcore shows and punk shows, and then we were just touring a lot, so I was gone. Like the whole year, Brother Inferior was our last year, in 99. We were on tour for 6 months. So I have no idea what the hell was going on in Tulsa, other than we came back and it seemed like all the kids got onto heroin, some stupid shit. And that was depressing.
Yeah.
So much so, that's when I created Assembly of God in Oklahoma City, because I didn't want to be in Tulsa that much.
Wow.
So I was commuting every weekend to go practice up there. Wow. Yeah, it became kind of a hassle. Yeah, that was a fun band. It didn't last very long, but it was a fun band.
Well, you said 24 countries with Brother Inferior?
Something like that. Yeah.
You had any good stories or crazy stories? Or
it's all one big blur. it was just cool. Actually, let's see here. Oh, there, film. That's the European dates that they put these out.
Oh, that's cool.
There was just the state of the scene was really impressive, and because everywhere we played a lot of squats, but squats are not what you think of when you think of them here. Where we played a couple, and except for maybe like C Squat in New York City, most of them were like junkie dens here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But there, I mean, they're like run by political anarchists or whatever that take care of, nice places to stay, have stages for gigs. Yeah. Like Kopi Squat's this big old hotel or some shit that's just been squatted. Punks live all over the fucking building. Out in the big lot, there's all these trailers that punks stay in, and they have a huge stage and a couple of bars, and it's insane, brilliant. And oh shit, oh sorry, ghosts. Yeah. God, one of the funnest shows was I think it was in Czech Republic, and it was getting near the end of the year. I mean, we started the tour in like June, and this was in November, so I mean, we've been out for a while. And we played this like garage thing. I mean, it was pretty good size, but still pretty much a garage. And so many people showed up. They just opened the big doors. And so, and it was, cheers. And there was like, it was snowing outside, and there was bonfire, and I got carried half off the stage while we were playing. And it was so fun, man. It was just ridiculous. And, actually one of my fondest memories is one of the most ridiculous, just because the very last show Brother Inferior ever played was to 3 people in Rostock, Germany, the last show of the tour. And all we did was Misfit covers, because no one was there, no one gave a shit, and they're like, and the show before that was a Kopi Squat, hundreds of people, we had to play like 3 encores, it was so fun. And then the last show, it's like Rostock, which, I think it was Rostock, it wasn't far from Kopi, and I think, everyone was at that big show, so no one goes the next way. So our roadies, and the other band we did a bunch of shows with Antichrist from Poland and Infexia from Poland. I don't remember who else played that night, but it was essentially just us and the other band and the guys that booked the tour. It was like our perfect send-off for us, though. My voice was gone from stand-up partying all night after the Berlin show, and that was brilliant. Really, I was just glad to have some days off on that tour. When a lot of our Spanish shows were canceled. Yeah, it was just because the dude that booked it was Flake or some shit, if I remember right. And I was like, I got days off. So we just went to the beach and just stood on the coast of Spain. I'm sitting here drinking beer, watching the sun come up. And
that's awesome.
It was all right. I didn't realize how much I like time to myself until once you're on tour, you're like, oh God, I just gotta get away. And it's not personal. It's not like I don't like the dudes. I just get mental, and I can get edgy, and so, and that's where, James understands where I'm coming from. So if we go to like a city, even though he doesn't, obviously I'm not going to drink a whole bunch before a show. I'll have a beer or two. Just, if they're going to go look around the city, just dump me off somewhere near the gig.
Yeah.
Let me just go sit and just unwind, have a pint, watch a match, something.
Yeah.
Just shut myself off. Or read comic books or something, I'm taking off my entire Walking Dead collection on tour so I can just reread the whole series.
Yes. that was actually our next topic, I think.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just noticed you were a big comic book guy.
I'm a very recent convert.
Okay.
And that, thanking The Walking Dead for that, because I knew it was a thing. I mean, I knew it existed, and I never really read comic books except for when I was little. And I'm not a big. I like the superhero films. Those are fun because they're just big action, shit blown up.
Yeah,
that's all good fun. Anytime you get a whole bunch of people getting blown up, that's fun.
Yeah.
Not really, but watching it on a film. Let's clarify that. And I saw that they were going to make, a series for Walking Dead. And I was like, I knew that was a comic book. It's a fun comic book. Fuck it. I'll go. And I just bought and I looked on Amazon. They had the first companion, which is 48 issues of it in one book. And I was like, well, I'll get that. Loved it. And kind of went in the comic book store and just kind of looked at stuff and saw the same company, Image, said there was, and I was like, maybe I'll buy something. And saw Manifest Destiny, and it looked like some, historical, but there's like weird zombie type things going on. Something horror. I like horror, or sci-fi or shit like that. And so I got in it, and basically what happened was I bought Manifest Destiny and liked it, and, it's Image Comics, and in the back they have ads for different comics, and I just kept seeing ones that looked cool, so I kept going trying these new ones. But I never really wanted to start reading something that I have to go back, like Walking Dead. Like, I'm fine with going back to the beginning, but I'd rather catch something at the beginning, and this was the first issue of something that's just now starting to come out. So no one really knows what the fuck it is. And start buying. So now there's about 15 different titles I follow. Most of them are Image Comics, and that's just because I just kept looking at ads in the back of, the ones I'm reading when they have ads for the same company. And now I go to Mammoth and deal with Sean. Sean's fantastic, and I have a pull list, So on my pull list, so I go every Wednesday and see what's new. And all that. And if he gets something new in that he thinks I like, then he'll go ahead and pull it for me. Chicks, it's horror, or like I said, something hostile like Men of Wrath, which is just angry guy hurting a lot of people. That's fun. It's sort of like like in hardcore and all that too. There's different ways to get out your mental rage that are sane and practical instead of physical.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I like reading all that. So yeah, that's. There are a lot of series I like now. Most of them are not, I guess, what you consider popular. Like, I don't go buy Batman or Superman or DC or even Marvel stuff. I enjoyed the Deadpool movie. I wouldn't mind reading some of those, but I don't really go looking for it. Yeah. Although now they're making I'm kind of doing the same with Preacher now. They're making a Preacher show. I got Volume 1 and start reading that, see if I like it. Oh, it seems all right so far.
Cool.
And they're making Outcast. Have you familiar with Outcast?
Heard the name.
Yeah, Outcast is it's a Kirkman Walking Dead, his other comic, one of his other ones. And it's a demonic possession comic. This kind of follows this dude. So a lot of people and he has kind of some connection with him. There's a whole lot going on that's still exploring all that. So it's only like 15 issues in. And they're already doing a show about it on Cinemax, so I'll probably have to get Cinemax or wait for it to end up on Netflix or some shit, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, with Walking Dead on Netflix, I hope that Outcast would end up on Netflix, because I don't want to pay for Cinemax just for one show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a cool comic, though, and the art's it's pretty dark. It's not as violent as Walking Dead. It's definitely more story-driven. But it's pretty cool. I like it a lot.
Well, as far as the show, what's your theory on it?
On Outcast or Walking Dead?
Walking Dead. On who got the...
Oh, who got whacked? Man, there are arguments to be made for every single character excluding Rick.
Right.
Because, if Kirkman made it clear at the beginning of the comic that this is Rick's story. It's not a zombie story. It's basically Rick's story in the apocalypse. So him being killed, you're 99.9% sure. I mean, yes, it's possible. He might kill him off, just fuck it. But I seriously doubt that. Glenn is who it is in the comics. Are they going to be that predictable? There's an argument to be made for and against because, the arrow in the eye, Denise. But it wasn't Denise, it was Abraham. And I like how they're doing that, but it's not always exactly like Carl got shot in the eye, same way he got shot in the eye, in the comics. So you think it might be Daryl, but financially speaking, they rely on him. And he's the face of the game. I seriously doubt they're going to kill him off yet. Maggie? Maybe. She's already sickly.
Yeah.
And you think they're going to go major character, but it could be like Rosita, someone that's been there, but not a total major character. If I'm going to go with anyone, I'll say Glenn.
Nice. I like that they shot it with no one there
Yeah.
So the cast has no
Cast has no idea.
That's
And
great.
people are real upset about the whole. And yes, it's funny. It's I talk more passionately about shit that I'm not involved in than the stuff I'm involved in. It's not true. It's just I'm much more confident about other people than I am about what I do.
Same way, yeah.
But yeah, people were complaining people complain about everything. I'm so fucking sick of how miserable everybody wants to be. Regardless. Okay, so everyone's pissing and moaning about the fact it's a cliffhanger. What show doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Locutus of Borg, right? Star Trek. You're familiar with Star Trek. He gets turned into a Borg. Commander Riker is about to blow up the fucking cube that he's on. He says fire, goes blank.
Yeah.
If the internet was around then, they probably would have shat themselves, but it's a fucking cliffhanger. Even on Scrubs, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I love Scrubs. The episode where they're, JD's about to, hooking up with Kim, and, Elliot, is about to get married, and they're about to kiss, and they don't do it. Well, they're about to, and it goes blank next season.
Yeah.
It's fucking cliffhanger. That's what every show fucking does.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what everything's been forever. I don't know why people got so...
Breaking Bad every episode.
Yeah. No kidding.
I mean, of course it's frustrating because you want to know, but that's Davey Hook. I mean, that's just what they do.
Well, I'm entertained, so then I know that's...
You're invested in it.
And
I get it.
We're all talking about it now, so
exactly.
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, go ahead. Quit watching. Like anybody's going to care.
Exactly.
Like anybody's going to give a shit that you watched baseball instead. Good luck. Good for you. You're right. In a sporting match, it won't be a cliffhanger. So you can just enjoy it. Whatever. People are fucking ridiculous.
Yes. I was kind of leaning towards Eugene just because they made such a big deal about him.
Yeah.
And he knows how to make the bullets, so now they might have to spend next season learning how to make the bullets.
Right.
Because that seems like that's going to be a big deal.
Man, just comic-wise, they're such iconic characters. I mean, but then again, look at Andrea in the comic. She's, still around. She's even with Rick, And, oh, hell. Then you got... I'm curious more, not necessarily... I mean, yeah, I'm fascinated with who got whacked. But more so, what they're going to do with Ezekiel. Because you saw the two dudes on horses. That's from the kingdom, right? Because they have kind of the cheesy armor shit. And that's the kingdom.
Yeah.
That's Ezekiel and a fucking tiger. People, I follow Twitter. And so, two most miserable places. If you just want to watch people be miserable, is Walking Dead Twitter timelines. Because, especially after the cliffhanger. Or Arsenal Football Club. Because apparently these fans are the most miserable people on the fucking planet. Always complaining about everything. And one guy, I just sat and watched, and they were like, oh my God, I'm getting so bored of The Walking Dead. It's getting just so crazy. People making bad decisions. I'm like, but they're pretty much following the comic. I mean, yeah, there's differences. But a lot of shit they're doing is following the comic. And so if you're already kind of thinking that it's getting too weird, just wait till you meet Ezekiel.
Yeah.
The dude has a fucking tiger. It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. Why, suspend your... there's no zombie apocalypse. Suspend your disbelief. It's a fucking TV show. Who gives a shit? If you're that worried about it, turn it off. It's just television.
Yeah. Sure.
Gives a shit. You know what I mean? Go play with your kids. Jesus Christ. Something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do enjoy it, and I've been watching Fear of the Walking Dead. I'm not into it as much. It hasn't totally hooked me. But I've enjoyed. I think it's got a lot of potential in there, and it's still worth me checking in. Like tonight, I'll watch it again or watch the next episode. So we'll see. But I don't follow too many shows other than obviously Star Trek and The Walking Dead and not too much new stuff. It's not because there's anything good. It's just I just don't want something else to obsess about. Yeah. I haven't watched season 2 of Daredevil yet, which looks awesome. Did you watch that? Season 1?
Yeah, but I've heard great things.
That's I think it's fantastic. It's a good story, well done. And I watched the Sherlocks, the BBC series on Netflix. Benedict Cumberbatch. No, each season, there's only 3 seasons so far, and there are only 3 episodes, but episodes are like an hour and a half long, so it's like a movie.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Very in-depth.
That's awesome.
Very in-depth, really good storylines. Whole lot and fun. Just fun to watch. Highly recommended. Sherlock's definitely worth your time.
Well, totally different subject. You mentioned Maiden. Did you go to the show?
What do you think?
I assume. I talked to people that say they love Maiden and didn't go, so you never know.
I've seen him 6 times now. Yeah, Sarah even got me that for my last birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Engraved Peace of Mind, man.
Wow.
You see Eddie, all that the top part? It's actually engraved Eddie and all that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I got tickets before they even went on sale. I mean, I should have just splurged and got floor seats, but I got the best of the shitty seats I could get, which was still $50 a pop.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. You know, if it was the only time I'd ever seen them, I probably would have got close to the front as I could. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the only thing that sucked is we were kind of off the side, up high, so we didn't see a lot of the background stuff. Well, I didn't see any of it, you know, but it was still pretty fucking cool to be there. I saw them in 1985 on the World Slavery Tour. That was one of the first concerts I ever saw, too. I mean, that just sells you. I was already into them, but that just confirmed it. And then I saw 2 nights in a row in 87 on the World Slavery, Somewhere in Time tour. And then saw them in 2000 when Bruce came back in the band and they did Brave New World. And then 2005, which was the Give 'Em Ed, Till I'm Dead, which is a lot of old stuff. Yeah. Playing Revelations and shit. And like, awesome. I mean, I like the new shit. I like the new record. You know, is it as good as everything? No, but who cares? It's a good Iron Maiden record.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it is.
You know, comparing everything to somebody's best work is a bit much. You know, I enjoy it. It gets listened to quite a bit. I even just went to the record store day at Starship, and they sold me. And to his credit, one of the dudes that worked there had reserved a copy, but he ended up letting me buy it because he knew I wanted it. The limited edition picture disc to Empire of the Clouds with all the
Yeah, you were looking for that.
Yeah.
I'll show it to you for when we're done.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can't touch it, but I'll show it to you. Wait, you can't even look at it. Don't soil it with your eyes. No, and it sounds great. You know, I like having it. But yeah, no, the show was great. We had a good time. I work right near the airport, so I left work a little early and got a really good pic of the plane, like while I was in air about to land. Nice. Yeah, we were totally nerding out. We were standing out at the airport, had all my doors open on the car. There was like hundreds of people out there. Yeah. And I'm, cranking the Maiden, just chilling. Yeah, that's my most recent work too.
Oh, yes. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm actually, speaking of The Walking Dead too, I'm getting from the comic book, the Compendium #2 cover has a reflection, right? It's got Rick and the gang, and then underneath is Zombie Rick and Zombie everybody. Oh. I'm actually going to get opposite this Zombie Rick's head here. So it's like obscure, but still Walking Dead.
Yeah,
exactly. Because it looks cool, and I'm like, I have a zombie and zombie, but it's like relevant.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Totally nerd out, Yeah. Love it.
This Piece of Time, your favorite Maiden album?
Peace of Mind, probably. Yes, but I'm more sentimental to Power Slave. It's weird because I think Peace of Mind consistently is the best record, but Power Slave has more of my favorite songs, and actually Killers is very sentimental too.
Yeah,
and I like the Paul years a lot because it's sort of like asking like my favorite Maiden song. I'd have to clarify. Do you mean Paul years, early Bruce years, or the new stuff? Because I have all, and you can't really compare them. Yeah, because my favorite songs are definitely like Murders in the Rue Morgue off the early stuff. Just the intensity of Paul's vocals and catchiness of the song, and definitely Alexander the Great and To Tame a Lamb being Peace of Mind. Alexander the Great off Somewhere in Time. Love that song. They never play it live either. Actually, my favorite songs, none of them they play live. It sucks, but oh well. I don't get to pick their set list. They didn't call,
Right.
What do you do?
Fuckers. I'm going to protest. No, you're just going to go and enjoy the songs they are playing.
That's right.
But there was 2 songs off Power Slave, right? On this tour, so that was cool.
And they played a pretty good selection. And to their credit, they write new good songs. I mean, I can't say the ones they picked off the new record to play are exactly my favorites. I would have preferred Empire of the Clouds, being big, epic 18-minute piece, piano, just building and all that. And but I mean, it played some great songs. The weakest, in my opinion, on that, I'm just not a fan of the Tears of the Clown song. Nothing. I think songwriting's fine. It just doesn't really move me as much. Just song wise, lyrics are great. It's fine. But I liked Eternity Shall Fail. It's great. Most of the songs in there are good. So I mean, it's like I said. Does it stand up to Peace of Mind, Power Slave, or Number of the Beast? Number of the Beast probably also the other just good record all around. Just a fantastic record from start to finish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Power Slave it has a couple of dull moments, but there's some songs on there that are just fantastic. Ace is High, Rhyming Chick fucking married Power Slave, the song Power, which they played, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
I kind of cheated before the show though, because it was the second night of the tour. Mm-hmm. So I'm lying in bed and I pulled up Periscope and watched the entire set from somebody else's phone.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
The night, the show before.
Well, yeah,
He was messaging me, like, I woke up the next morning and he had, like, messaged me songs. He was reading them off their Twitter or whatever.
Because they were tweeting them. I was actually watching them happen.
Yeah, on their Instagram.
Yeah.
Every time anew, and they
do a new
picture for it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I stayed up. I had to be at work the next day.
Oh, I know. It's me too. I'm watching the fucking show.
Yeah.
Because they were doing it as the show was happening.
Yeah.
And so like I was like, a girl that I knew from work she's also a Maiden fan, and she had told me that, I think it's on Periscope or YouTube or something. I found it on YouTube, but they ended up not playing it for some reason. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, check Periscope. I found it, and I found it right at the end of the first song, so I get to watch the whole rest of the set.
That's awesome.
Pretty fucking cool. I did not know that was a thing and or possible, but now that I do, anytime any of my favorite bands are on tour, I'm hoping someone's there with their phone. As much as I hate when people do that, if I benefit from it, then it's
Why
okay.
not? Well, hell yeah.
Is Maiden your favorite band?
Do it?
Is Maiden your favorite
band? Yes, but like I said, there's a whole lot of caveats. My favorite metal band, classic metal band, yes. But, because I have favorite punk bands, favorite boy bands, favorite bands from certain years.
Right.
Because to compare, Iron Maiden to New Model Army to Shane MacGowan to Harry Chapin, you can't. Right. And I love all of them.
Yeah.
In equally but in completely different ways. So,
Were you into metal before you were into punk, or was it the other way around?
Probably metal. Yeah, I'm definitely considering myself a metalhead first, even though I did like a lot of punk rock stuff. But, I always leaned more towards metal and thrash. And the faster, more aggressive shit I got into, early with Iron Maiden and early MTV days when they showed videos, and, Iron Maiden and Priest and anything aggressive. And then, I heard, shit like Slayer and the early Metallica, when they were good. And then just progressively got more so, anything. Then found Cryptic Slaughter, and that just totally fucked me up. Shit, freaking every song, Million Miles an Hour. Loved it. And gradually, and started finding out more and more about hardcore bands and all that. And realizing, NOTA, one of the greatest hardcore bands ever, is dudes down the street.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, And, and still, I don't even listen to much like classic punk at all. I enjoy it, sure, but I don't get as pumped by it as I would rocking the Maiden or something. You know what I mean? So, I do enjoy it, but I never got into like Black Flag or, I had a couple exploited records and it's fine. And I like them, but I guess if there were 2 shows going on in town, like Iron Maiden and an old punk band, I would probably go Iron Maiden.
With like the punk bands you were in?
Yeah.
Did you kind of just fall into that?
I got more and more into hardcore, and with Concept of Nonsense was definitely inspired. Our early stuff was pretty much Cryptic Slaughter. I mean, all our first, if you listen to our first tape called Finally, 20 songs, almost every single one of them had the fast beat. And we had a couple of slower ones, but those are like more NOTA style. So we were basically trying to rip off two different bands. And the end of Concept of Nonsense, in between Concept of Nonsense, we broke up for a while, and I was doing Unsociety, which is much more experimental. But we had like 3 different people writing, so it was coming at a lot of different angles, more punk rock. I was still kind of singing the same, but my vocal style got more and more aggressive as the years went on. And then we started after Concept of Nonsense split up last time. The guy playing bass for us was Ryan, and he was much more a natural guitar player anyway. So we were like, well, let's just take 3 of us, which was our drummer Mike, bass player Ryan, and me, because Steve just, I don't think, wanted to do it anymore, and we wanted to do something different. And, which weird, because then Steve ended up joining the Kids later. All right, so that's all the original Concept of Nonsense. But, so yeah, Brother Inferior was essentially, and Ryan was playing in 9 Iron at the time with Alex, and he joined us on bass as well. So that's how Brother Inferior started, was just basically Concept of Nonsense, switched a member, switched instruments, and started writing a little differently, but not too much different. Because at that time we weren't writing blast beat songs that much anymore. And it just was less metal, because Ryan's style he's not a metalhead at all. You know, even if I was writing something that was more fast picking, he would end up more punk strumming. He was big into Clash and shit like that. So it was kind of cool, because I would write stuff and it wouldn't come out near like I wrote it, but it was really good and ended up defining our sound, because his style, a much more melodic style, and I'm just, give me a guitar and beating it to death. But yeah, that's essentially it. I mean, if there was a timeline and just a musical timeline, you could just listen to them and follow how things went. Which Concept of Nonsense slowing down, started being more just classic hardcore with Brother Inferior, and then even then we started being more thrash at the end. And then I started the Leveling, or Assembly of God, which is a little bit faster. And then we did the Leveling, which is just blast beats and double bass. And then when the Leveling, our drummer left, because it was me and James, at that point. I was playing guitar, he was playing bass, and Colin was playing drums. And then Colin left. He moved. So James switched drums and we started bringing on the hammer. So it was just a total, just following, as soon as one thing was ending, we started another thing with almost the same band doing quite similar shit. Just I liked faster music, and so that's what it was with Bringing Down the Hammer, was just a total conglomeration of speed. And every time, I'd write a slower song, I like Spite. It keeps me warm. So when everyone tells me, oh man, I really like that one song, the slower one, I refuse to write any more slower songs. Because fuck you, we play fast. So our sets were insane. You can find it's on YouTube. Bring Down the Hammer is at a live show, and it's a 1.5 minutes long, and it's our first three or 5 songs from the set.
Yes.
Next song. Awesome. Our CD, we did a CD. It was 2008, and it's 20 songs in about 18 minutes. And the only reason it's even that long is the last song is a Billy Bragg cover, which is about 2.5 minutes long. And what's sad though, so typical, which is why I won't record covers hardly at all anymore. Because you do a record, you put a cover on just for fun play, whatever, and you give the disc to somebody. They're like, man, that last song, that's a great song. You're like, so the one we didn't write? Thanks.
Oh, no.
Thanks. Really appreciate that. Yeah. I got real bitter about, I enjoy playing covers. Like in Brother Inferior days, we'd cover We're Not Gonna Take It. Twisted Sister turned into a punk song. We even put it on the LP, but we didn't list it. Yeah. I didn't want people, cover, it's like, it's on there, so you buy the record. Oh, cool, fun, And after a while, when we were playing it live, people were so used to seeing us that half the crowd would just sit there waiting for us to play it.
Oh, no.
And it's like, you don't even really care. You just want to hear a cover song. go watch a fucking cover band. And fuck you, I don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
I get it, make people happy and all that, but that's not what I want out of music. Honestly, all joking aside about making it and that shit, not that would ever be an option. I don't know how well I live with myself if, like, you're a one-hit wonder, right? And your one song is a cover song. Like, you're known... The only thing you're ever going to be known for is because you did someone else's song a little different. Essentially, you pretty much just piggybacking on their success. Fine. If no one ever likes anything I did, at least I did what I wanted to do and played my shit and got to exercise my own personal fucking demons. And hopefully one or two people that listen to it go, that's exactly how I fucking feel.
Yeah.
And fantastic. It's never going to pay your bills, so don't try. And just, as long as I probably would have gone totally fucking insane had I not had it, music and writing, and because everyone has to have something, because I occasionally bout anxiety and depression and that shit. And you got to have an outlet. You got to have some way that you can communicate that. And for some people, it's sports. It used to be for sports for me until my knees just can't do it anymore. Or whatever. Just something that you can fucking express yourself,
Yeah, you need it.
It doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's just playing with your kids and building models or something. You know what I mean? Something. Because if you don't, you just wallow in your, I've had a couple of friends fucking kill themselves in the last few months.
Wow.
And I don't know, I can't prove that depression was the factor, but I'm sure it had a role to play. And you isolate yourself and don't allow yourself to just get it out somehow. It's going to eat you. The strongest man will collapse under that shit.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful I've got it. And I have a feeling at some point I'm going to end up just me and that. Just playing, and I'm totally fine with that too. Just old guy sitting in the back of the coffee shop, singing angry acoustic songs, yelling at people. He's laughing, singing songs about being fucking miserable. It's great.
As long as they don't come and tell you they love the angry miserable song,
yeah,
you gotta stop doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't tell me I do anything well. I'll stop doing it. No, it's good fun, man. And I actually enjoy the acoustic music a lot. And that's one thing I really like doing about Larkin is it's something totally different. And I could envision... That's music you can kind of grow old playing.
Yeah.
I mean, the body... I mean, you can grow old playing metal. I mean, but it takes a much stronger will to put on a good live show and get the screamy voice out and all that, just hurts. I don't want to party after shows anymore at all. I'm like, is there some I can fucking sleep? I'll have a beer and then go crash.
I think we covered it. That's awesome.
I'm sitting babbling. Oh, sure, man.
There you go, Chad Malone. Thanks again for taking the time to do that with us. Very cool interview. Lots of great stuff there, and he invited us over and we sat down and talked for a little over an hour, and I think it was pretty cool. Yeah,
definitely. Super important, super insightful. Just a great conversation all the way around. I loved that, we got onto like Iron Maiden and The Walking Dead, and that's just kind of what you love is those enthusiastic, music and just those kind of talks. So it was super awesome.
Yeah, once again, look up all this stuff online, Facebook, Bandcamp, Reverb Nation, Spotify. Go buy yourself some Larkin and some Senior Fellows. And I don't know if the Shame's got physical product out, but excuse me. And of course, drop some names again: Concept of Nonsense and Brother Inferior and the Kids Who Never Learned to Color Inside the Lines, and several more.
That's right.
You gotta love it when someone has that much stuff going on, and a lot of it is completely like from Larkin to Senior Fellows is a huge difference.
Yeah.
And then you've got, the Shame right in the middle of it. It's just, It's cool that, someone is active in that many different things.
Yeah, that diversity is real important.
And it all comes off well.
Oh, definitely.
So get out there and see any of these bands live when you have a chance. Like I said, Senior Fellows is hitting everywhere from Kansas to New York City and Virginia and back to Arkansas. So get out there and see them in the next week and a half if you can.
That's right.
Check us out online at thethunderunderground.com. Follow us on social media, THNDR Ground on Twitter, The Thunder Underground on Facebook, The Thunder Underground on Instagram and YouTube, Thunder Underground on Periscope, and soundcloud.com/thunder-underground. Podcasts are also on the website in the podcast section. Everything from, like we mentioned earlier, Lenny Lashley. If you like some punk, if you like the heavy stuff like Senior Fellows, we've had guys from, Crowbar and Battlecross, and I'm forgetting heavy stuff, but Overkill, yeah. And of course, we've ranged the gamut of glam metal, Warrant to
Shooter Jennings,
yeah, just recently. So we're trying to cover it all. If we like it, we'll bring it on.
That's right.
Yeah, The Thunder Underground. We're also selling koozies, and we just got T-shirts in.
That's right.
# all killer, no filler. Most of the time. There's filler now because I'm probably rambling. But
That's all right. And, once again, we're both like under the weather, some eerily at the same time. So if we sound kind of like not excited or a little sluggish, please forgive us.
Yeah. Yeah, if this is your first time listening, we appreciate it. If you're a friend or a fan of Chad, share this and get the word out. Let everybody hear this stuff, and hope you'll tune in again next time. We've also got, this coming week, we've got William Fish coming up. Yeah. He's the former drummer from Framing the Red, and he's also got a new solo album that's coming out here in a month or two. And then we've got Kyle Gunther, the lead vocalist for Battlecross. We've had him on before, but he was cool enough to come back on again.
Yes.
And then we've also got a few other things lined up, and we'll be bringing it to you as soon as we can.
You're damn right.
All right. Until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.